Okay, so let's start off this lesson by asking the question, what do we already know about absolute value? And that should be that the solution is always positive or zero, and we know that the notation for absolute value is the vertical bars. Now, if I told you that the absolute value of some unknown number was equal to positive 5, now in algebra, we're not going to use a question mark for an unknown, we're going to use x. So if the absolute value of x is equal to positive 5, we have two possible values that x could be. X could either equal positive 5, since the absolute value of positive 5 equals 5, or x could also equal negative 5, since the absolute value of negative 5, again, is equal to positive 5. Let's extend this thinking now to the graph of the absolute value function, which we know looks like this. Okay, and if we draw a horizontal line at positive 5, we see that it intersects the graph in two places, at both x equals negative 5 and at x equals positive 5. Again, there are two possible solutions to the absolute value of x equaling 5. And this will lead us to the conclusion that absolute value functions can have up to two possible solutions.
Cool.
So now we're ready to try our first example of solving an absolute value equation. In this case, the absolute value of x plus 3 equals 6. The procedure here is to take the absolute value of portion of the equation, and we're going to solve for it twice, except that we are not going to include the absolute value bars. Now the first equation we set equal to the value in positive form, and in the second equation we set it equal to that value, in this case 6, in negative form. So we're solving it for the positive value and for its negative counterpart. So here we have on the left side, we're solving for the equation x plus 3 equals positive 6, and on the right side equation, x plus 3 equals negative 6. Now these are simple equations to solve. We'll go ahead and subtract 3 on both sides of the equal sign for both equations. That will cancel out the positive 3 on each side. And now over on the right side of the left equation, 6 minus 3 is equal to positive 3. Over on the right side equation, negative 6 minus 3 is equal to negative 9. And now we have our two solutions to this absolute value equation, x equals 3 and x equals negative 9. Now to make sure that these solutions are correct, we can go ahead and do a check. So I take the original absolute value equation and substitute back in our values for x. So on the left side equation, I replace x with 3. On the right side equation, I replace x with negative 9. Now over on the left side, inside the absolute value bars, 3 plus 3 is equal to 6. Over on the right side on the absolute value bars, negative 9 plus 3 is equal to negative 6. I know that my left side equation is true because the absolute value of 6 does equal 6. And I know that my right side equation is true, since the absolute value of negative 6 also equals positive 6. So my solutions of x equals 3 and negative 9 both check out. So now let's go ahead and take a look at another example. In this case, we have the absolute value of 2x minus 4 plus 8 is equal to 10. Notice on the left side of the equation that we have the absolute value piece, and we have that plus 8. Now that plus 8, we have to move to the other side before we can solve this. Let's go ahead and subtract 8 on both sides of the equal sign. That'll cancel out on the left side, and on the right side, 10 minus 8 is just equal to 2. Now we can use the same procedure that we used in the last example, since we have the absolute value part on one side of the equal sign and the regular value on the other. So to find solutions for the absolute value of 2x minus 4 equals 2, we rewrite the absolute value part of the equation twice without the absolute value bars, and we set it equal to both positive 2 and negative 2. And now all we have to do is solve. Again, we want to get x by itself, so let's go ahead and add 4 to both sides of the equal sign for both equations. That'll cancel out on the left side. For the left equation, 2 plus 4 is just equal to 6. For the right equation, negative 2 plus 4 is just equal to positive 2. And now for both equations, we have to divide by 2 to get x by itself. The 2's on the left side we know will cancel out. On the right side, equation 6 divided by 2 is equal to 3. On the right side equation, 2 divided by 2 is just equal to 1. And now we have two solutions, x equals 3 or x equals 1. We just have to check them. So we're going to go ahead and entrust you to perform that check on your own. Make sure that those two solutions work. And we'll leave you with a quick visual way to remember the steps for solving absolute value equations. First, you have to isolate the absolute value portion of the equation, then set it equal to both the positive and negative value without the absolute value bars, and finally, you have to perform a check. So think about the concepts and remember the procedure, and you'll be fine on this topic, and we'll see you next time.